led committee's recommendations to the president are implemented, they will be able to respond to any acts of violence that may erupt. He has, however, warned that those who would want to foment trouble following the implementation should advise themselves and not act, in such manners, because the military is on standby to brutally deal with anyone who goes against it. But I must put on record that Bawku is generally very calm. This night, patrols are still continuing in both Bawku and Binduri. There's heavy military presence there. Every corner you turn, there's a checkpoint there to ensure that the people are safe and everyone can go about their activities. And like I said, in some communes or some suburbs, you see that the places are deserted, but there are other parts, the larger parts of the town, where people are there going about their activities and hoping that the implementations would favor everyone and peace will be restored.
All right, Castro, let's now listen to Brigadier General Wolanyo.
We don't want anything untoward to happen. That is why we are here. As we went around, we could see that we have a lot of checkpoints, military checkpoints. This is to aid protection of the troops, research vehicles, and what have you. Now, we have reinforced the whole unit over here with so many men from other units to ensure that whatever happens, we should be in control. And I'm happy to say that I have enough men on ground to take care of any situation. We pray that at the end of the day, the locals do not do anything untoward.
Thank you so much, Castro. And Castro Senyala is our Upper East Regional Correspondent.
We are swinging to the northern region, specifically the capital Tamale, where parts of Tamale turned into a battlefield when the Inspector General of Police's Special Operations Team came under heavy arm attack by a gang of drug peddlers. The incident happened during a series of clamp-down operations targeting criminal networks in the Tamale metropolis.
Led by ASP Bawa Abdul Jalil, the 50-member squad advanced their operations to Sanzirugu, where 5 suspects were picked up from a house believed to be a drug hub. A man and his wife who had hoarded drugs in their rooms and sold them to customers, largely youth, were among the persons rounded up. Large quantities of dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp and bottles of Kofex syrup were seized.
We are just taking this opportunity to tell all the criminal gang that the Special Operations Team will continue at all levels with our intelligence-led operation to identify criminal hideout, as well as those who sell the tramadol and the consumption of tramadol and other related drugs that in turn influence them to commit crime. We are telling them that we'll identify them and pick them like we have arrested these people.
Further intelligence led the team to Dabuabu Forest, a hotspot for robbery gangs and drug traffickers. A coordinated swoop resulted in 27 arrests. 6 suspected stolen bikes, 3 mobile phones, and quantities of cannabis and synthetic opioids were retrieved. But the operation quickly escalated. A group of armed criminals, reportedly part of a larger drug trafficking gang, opened fire on the officers without warning. The police, acting in self-defense and in line with rules of engagement, returned fire. One suspect sustained gunshot wounds and later pronounced dead at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, while the remaining traffickers fled with their weapons as police reinforcements arrived. All arrested suspects were transported to the district charge office and the Sakasaka police station for further investigations. Seized narcotics and exhibits have been submitted for forensic analysis. The team also destroyed makeshift structures, serving as hideouts for the drug peddlers, while a suspect dressed in military uniform was nabbed. Monday's confrontation reinforces long-standing concerns about the rising boldness and the firepower of criminal gangs operating in the northern region. But it also highlights the increasing resolve of the Ghana Police Service to confront violent crime head-on. As the Special Operations Team intensifies its clampdown, authorities say dismantling drug networks and restoring safety in Tamale will require not only police action, but the continued cooperation of community leaders and residents.
Meanwhile, the Metropolitan Chief Executive of Tamale, Abu Takoro, believes that although the operations are laudable, the excesses are undermining the peace of the metropolis. Here's a report by Christopher Amwako.
The unfortunate killing of a young man believed to be in his early 40s has raised some concerns and tensions amongst residents in the Greater Tamale metropolis. Metropolitan Chief Executive of Tamale, Abu Takoro, who doubles as the chairman of the Metropolitan Security Committee, has been sharing his concerns on this development.
The report I've received as a message chairman was that the person was riding the motorbike to go and pick the wife and children from the timber market where the wife used to sell charcoal. When he was stopped, he refused to stop. Then a person among the police who was wearing a short shot into the guy's chest. And when the people were trying to, rescue the guy, the same police prevented the people. That is why we are calling for investigation into this.
For the Ghana Police Service here in the Northern region, they have been explaining how the unfortunate killing of the young man happened.
They went to Sanjirgu. At that place, they had what we call a crossfire with some of the suspects. Because upon seeing them, they fired a shot, and so they had to also, defend themselves by also shooting back. One suspect sustained, injuries, and later pronounced dead by the Tamale Teaching Hospitals.
Christopher Bawku, TV3 News, Tamale.
Well, let's turn our attention to, one subject that has been very dodgy to many people.
What was your grade in mathematics?
Oh, my math is very suspect. Well, it is a subject that many students do not like due to varied reasons, including perceived difficulty, teaching methods, and anxiety. In the just released WASSCE results, more than half of the candidates failed core mathematics. In this report, Portia Gabo finds out what can be done to make mathematics attractive and interesting for students.
So this question actually appeared in this year's WASSCE that had many people failing. It says the midpoint of the line joining Y2A3 and Z minus 4B is M12A minus 1. Find the values of A and B. Let me attempt solving this. I'm actually confused. I can't even go to question 2. So let me hand over the chalk to someone who I think will do a better job than me. Over to you, Doc.
Thank you, Portia. So if you have 2 points, you have Y given by 2A3 and you have Z given by minus 4B. What is the formula for the midpoint? Now the formula for the midpoint of a line, so a midpoint, you need first your x coordinates. So you add all your x coordinates, 2A, and you divide it by 2 since you are finding half of it, which is mid. Then you add your y coordinates. It should be 3 plus b. Since you are finding the midpoint, you divide it by 2. So this is the formula. But in the question, you were told that this point is given as 1, 2a minus 1. That means that for 2 points to be equal, their x coordinates should be equal, their y coordinates should be equal. That means that 2a minus 4 over 2 is equal to 1, which means that 2a minus 4 equal to 2, which means that 2a equal to 6 and a equal to 3. Brilliant. Similarly, we also know that our y coordinates should be equal. So we get that 2a minus 1 should be equal to 3 plus b over 2. But we already know what our a is. Our a is 3. So that means our left hand side becomes 6 minus 1, which is just what? 5. So 5 is 3 plus b over 2. So that means that 10 is equal to 3 plus b, and we get our b to be 7. So in particular, A is equal to 3 and our B is equal to 7.
Dr. Angela Tabiri is not your average mathematics lecturer. She has a PhD in mathematics from the University of Glasgow, won the big internet math of competition in 2024, and was named the world's most interesting mathematician. She currently serves as the academic manager for the Masters in Mathematical Sciences for Teachers at the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, Ghana.
When my master results came, I got 5 A1s and 3 B3s, which meant that I didn't make the aggregate to go to the business school. Then I got my second choice, which was mathematics, economics, sociology, and theatre arts. Now I went to Legon, and for me it was more of doing what I've been given, and later on found joy in doing it. So I did maths, and I realized that anytime we were given maths problems and I solved it, there was this joy that came with it.
Dr. Angela Tabiri explains why more than half of the candidates that wrote this year's core maths paper may have failed.
You saw how I solved the problem. Now, when you see a problem, you don't need to have seen it before to be able to solve it. You should be able to put on your problem-solving skills. So you have a big problem, put it into small pieces. Now, based on what you know from your previous learnings on the small pieces, you solve those small pieces, then you put the puzzle together to get your solution. And that's where the challenge is. So one of the comments from the chief examiner's report was the inability of candidates to convert word problems into mathematical formulations.
For many students, the least most liked subject in school is mathematics due to varied reasons.
Growing up, I didn't have a great experience with maths at all. I remember for most of the maths classes, I ended up crying, essentially because the teacher will do what they call mental, and that always puts me on edge, anxious, and then I end up crying almost all the time. So I think all that created in me a strong phobia for mathematics.
My least favorite subject is mathematics. The way that, the teachers taught it in high schools, junior high, and SHS precisely. It wasn't interesting every time. They neglected the weak ones, they claim, and they were always focusing on the intelligent ones.
Dr. Tabiri says math should be made attractive to students, especially girls.
Imagine we want to learn about the number pi. So I ask you, look around your home and come with any circular object that you find around. In a home, you might have a thread and a rule. So pick any circular object, irrespective of its size. Now pick your thread and go round that circular object. Keep that length and measure it on your ruler. Now it will interest you that irrespective of the size of the circular object, if you find that length and you divide it by the diameter means the line from the center to both ends of the circle, irrespective of the size of the circle, that number is constant, and that's actually the number pi. So you realize that pi is not just something they tell you, pi is 22/7, take it, right? Pi is something which is just what? The ratio of the length around a circle, which we call circumference, to its diameter.
For students who failed their core math paper, Dr. Tabiri had an advice.
Life doesn't end there. Just pick up the pieces, focus on understanding the whys in the math, and also finding ways where those concepts are being applied.
Portia Gabo, TV3 News.
So now you understand mathematics.
Yes, that pie is not just what you eat during snack, but it's a math formula.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll all overcome our phobia for mathematics. Yeah. In more news tonight, the World Health Organization's goal to end AIDS by 2030 is facing fresh uncertainty as new data shows that although progress has been made, new infections remain high with only 5 years left on the clock. These concerns will take center stage at the 23rd International Conference on HIV and AIDS and STIs in Africa, set to open in Ghana on Wednesday, December 3.
According to the World Health Organization, 26 million people in Africa are currently living with HIV, with women and girls accounting for 63% of infections. The region also recorded 380,000 AIDS-related deaths last year. This is the first time Ghana is hosting the conference, which will bring together scientists,
policymakers, civil society groups, and global stakeholders to share strategies for ending HIV/AIDS by 2030. Ghana itself is struggling to meet the UN AIDS 95-95-95 targets, which aim for 95% of people living with HIV to know their status, 95% of those diagnosed to be on treatment, and 95% of those on treatment to achieve viral suppression by 2025.
Our first 95, we are only at 68. The second 95, we are at 69. The last 95, we are at 90. It only means that we are doing a little better in the last aspect of it. But the other first two aspects of it, which should lead to the last 90, where everybody should be to make HIV not a public health threat, we are far from that.
The World Health Organization is hopeful of transformative interventions and stronger collaboration among member countries.
We are at a pivotal moment in the fight against HIV, TB, and malaria. There are a number of dynamics going on around financing. We've seen significant cuts. So we can no longer move in silos. We must integrate our responses.
Some 3,000 delegates from 85 countries are expected to attend the 5-day conference, which seeks solutions to the widespread impact of HIV/AIDS and to address funding gaps caused by declining support to Africa.
In more news this evening, the Vice President, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, has reaffirmed government's dedication to building a humane, secure, reformatory and correctional system. Speaking at the prison service graduation in Accra, the Vice President said government has been resolute in strengthening the prison service because an effective and well-resourced correctional system is the backbone of a public safety.
162 males and 103 females officer cadets were commissioned into the Senior Officer Corps as Superintendent of Prisons. Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, who graced the event, said the increase in daily feeding fee for inmates from 1 cedi 80 pesos to 5 cedis is aimed at addressing malnutrition and unrest in prisons.
The government has been resolute in strengthening the prison service because an effective and well-resourced correctional system is the backbone of public safety. Every Ghanaian, regardless circumstance, deserves dignity, care, and humane treatment. With this increase, over 14,000 inmates will benefit from more nutritious and decent meals. Government is committed to deepening this progress in the years ahead. His Excellency the President's recent amnesty for 998 inmates is a powerful statement of mercy and a reminder that true justice requires compassion and a belief in second chances.
She emphasized the importance of public education to demystify the Ghana Prisons Service and pledged government's resolve to prioritize inmates' welfare, recognizing its impact on national security. The Vice President commended the service for its innovative agricultural projects.
Over the next fiscal cycle, the Ghana Prison Service will benefit from infrastructure and capacity building support. The ongoing retooling efforts will improve operational efficiency and the welfare of officers as well as the dignity of those in custody. As part of President Mahama's reset agenda, the Ghana Prison Service has launched the Think Prisons 360-degree initiative, a project to transform the service into a modern, secure, and self-sustaining institution.
Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman reaffirmed government's dedication to build a humane, secure, reformatory and correctional system. She urged the graduates to continue developing initiatives that provide inmates with practical skills and opportunities for reintegration into society.
In more news tonight, the Ghana Mine Workers Union is accusing the Finance Ministry and the Bank of Ghana of abandoning thousands of miners whose savings are locked up in defunct financial institutions. Speaking at a gathering of miners in Accra, General Secretary Abdul Mumin Bana called the situation unacceptable and said both the Finance Ministry and the Bank of Ghana have failed in their duties to protect workers' savings.
Between 2018 and 2019, government through the Bank of Ghana shut down more than 100 financial institutions, citing insolvency and weak corporate governance. But the collapse left many Ghanaian workers stranded, including thousands in the mining sector. 19,000 miners have had their savings locked up in these defunct institutions. At a news conference, General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, Abdul Mumin Bana, expressed strong frustration over the delay.
And do not think that the government and the Bank of Ghana are fair to depositors like us. Indeed, we trusted the Bank of Ghana as a body corporate created by law and given the functions of supervision and regulatory compliance, and therefore entrusted our life savings into the hands of these institutions licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. It is therefore our expectation that the fiduciary duty of the Bank of Ghana to us as citizens of this country must be fully adhered to.
He announced a series of planned actions by the union in the coming days. Bana further urged government to grant the needed permits and licenses for Hit Goldfields to continue operating in the Bogoso Prestia mine.
The Minerals Commission and EPA to support Hit Goldfields with all the relevant permits and licenses that will enable them commence production and process gold. We also want to call on the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources to do the needful by fast-tracking the ratification of the mining lease to enable Hit Goldfields stand firmly and be able to deliver on its mandate to the people of Ghana.
Chairman of the union, Prince Bawku, said the union will remain resolute to fight the rights of workers.
Oh, Christmas is in the air. Now, Kempinski Hotel Gold Coast City has kicked off the festive season with its annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Accra. The elegant event not only marked a decade of the hotel's operations, but also welcomed guests into a Christmas experience rich with music, culture, and celebration.
Clients, staff, partners, and guests of Kempinski Hotel Gold Coast City gathered in Accra to mark a decade of the hotel's presence in Ghana's hospitality space, while ushering patrons into the festive season. The Christmas tree lighting ceremony treated audiences to enhancing holiday renditions from soloists and music choreographers. Kempinski Hotel Gold Coast City says the festive season promises to be thrilling, with special entertainment packages and exceptional services curated for its clients. The general manager, Sylvia Rajniak, outlined the lineup of activities planned for the Christmas.
This is our kick-off of the festive season. We are participating in many events and celebrating not only the Christians event, but as well the Muslims events and many other festivities which are happening around. Obviously, all the conferences, events and meetings happening in Accra are as well a great platform for us to put Accra on the world map and to expand and generate new businesses and new tourists and guests coming to the destination.
She added that this year's celebration is designed to project Accra onto the global map. Director of Diaspora Affairs at the Office of the Presidency, Kofi Ochridakun KOD, encouraged diasporans to return home and celebrate the season in Ghana.
We're changing the narrative from Dirty December to December is Ghana. The rest of the world is looking up to this country. Everyone, like people from different walks of life, are coming this way. And we're very excited to welcome them to Ghana. An event like this, lighting up the Christmas tree at the Kempinski, is very iconic. And we're looking forward to our diasporan family coming back home to spend time with us.
With Accra poised for a vibrant December, the hotel hopes its celebrations will draw both locals and diasporans home to share in the city's holiday spirit.
This is still News 360 on your most authoritative news source, TV3. Stay with us. Business, news, and entertainment are all coming up.
I love President Charcoal. Why? When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste. That's both charcoal and lemon. Oh, does it? Yes. Look right here.
Yes. Pepsodent Charcoal has two of nature's powerful whitening ingredients. With the power of activated charcoal and lemon essence, it removes stains and whitens teeth naturally.
Convinced?
Well, I am. Just look at your beautiful Pepsodent smiles.
For naturally whiter teeth, Pepsodent Charcoal.
Pepsodent. Why are more and more professionals choosing Flamingo paint?
As an interior decorator, I aim for that beautiful, elegant look. Flamingo paint has great hiding ability to cover and transform old walls easily with just one coat.
Impressive. For me, as a professional painter, I love Flamingo paint because it is small paints that paint huge area, meaning more profit for me. Great value for money.
As an architect, Flamingo paint, with its well-researched and solid composition, guarantees durability for all my buildings.
Flamingo paint, superior hiding, superior coverage, superior durability. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Masquerades are scary, but bills shouldn't scare you. Be one of 10,000 lucky winners when you deposit multiples of 400 Ghana cedis or take a loan in multiples of 4,000 Ghana cedis to win up to 1.5 million Ghana cedis in cash and prizes, 1-year insurance cover, and more. Tap into vibes in the EcoBank 5-Star Enjoyment Promo. Up to 15% discount when you use our cards and digital platforms. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. EcoBank will never call or text asking you to verify sensitive information like your PIN, Ghana card, or bank card information. Pay better attention to details.
My life has been transformed from today.
Too much money promo number. You be
Telesale More Money promo gave Ghanaians the chance to win big simply by staying connected. With every data purchase, we paid school fees, grew businesses, and improved over 20,000 Ghanaian lives.
We are here.
At Telesale, we're committed to connecting people and spreading positive energy.
I have emerged as the winner for the Too Much promo. In fact, Telesale is not only interested in getting money from their customers, Telesale is also improving the lives of their customers. And today I am living testimony. My life has been transformed from today.
Thank you, Ghana, for choosing to stay connected.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN. Touch concentrated perfume.
Let's do some business stories now. The second deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana, Matilda Asante Essiedu, is urging businesses and individuals to honor their loan obligations and avoid diverting borrowed funds, warning that rising defaults are undermining confidence in the financial system. She was speaking at a sensitization program for members of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry on Borrowers and Lenders Act.
The Bank of Ghana is intensifying efforts to promote responsible borrowing and lending across the financial sector. Addressing members of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry at a sensitization session on the Borrowers and Lenders Act, Second Deputy Governor Matilda Asante Essiedu expressed concern about the growing misuse of loans and rising default rates.
Some people go to the bank and they take loans knowing that they will not pay back. And that's what creates opportunity for higher interest, because the banker then begins to think, okay, if 30% of them or 20% of them will not pay me, let me factor that into my pricing and that means that cost of borrowing goes up.
Matilda Asante Essiedu said the central bank will continue expanding public education to ensure borrowers and lenders fully understand their rights and responsibilities to safeguard credit discipline. GNCCI President Stefan Miezan welcomed the engagement but stressed the need for improved access to finance, especially for businesses seeking capital to expand.
In as much as Bank of Ghana, you are doing so well in putting in every effort to ensure that the cost of credit comes down, please put in every effort to make it accessible to those of us in industry and in business.
The sensitization program forms part of the Bank of Ghana's broader initiative to enhance transparency and strengthen Ghana's credit market under the Borrowers and Lenders Act.
In more business news this evening, a new independent review of Ghana's 2026 budget by policy consultancy Emerging Markets Advisory is warning that the country is walking a fiscal tightrope despite the government's renewed discipline. The firm says Ghana is making progress, but a combination of major debt repayments, heavy domestic refinancing, and ambitious flagship programs could test the economy's resilience as the nation exits the IMF program next year.
The firm cites three major risks: a potential debt crunch from 2027, the feasibility of high-cost growth initiatives such as the Big Push and the 24-hour economy, and the danger of returning prematurely to the Eurobond market. Managing partner of EM Advisory, Dr. Abdul Ganiyu, urged clear feasibility work and strong public-private partnership structures to ensure successful implementation of government's large-scale projects.
When we talk about an appraisal, then we are talking about establishing the economic and the financial viability. And in fact, for the private sector, financial viability will be more critical for them. So you should be able to tell us that the project will cost us this much and can be operated for this long.
Dr. Abdul Ganiyu warns that Ghana's ability to deliver on the 2026 budget will depend largely on meeting an ambitious revenue target of 16.8% of GDP, a projection it says lacks clarity on how it will be achieved.
The GCB Bank PLC has launched its deposit mobilization campaign known as the Part-to-Part promotion, aimed at renewing loyal customers or rewarding loyal customers. The promotion will give 5 lucky winners an all-expenses-paid trip to watch the global football tournament next year.
The launch of the Part-to-Part promo featured a friendly match between the GCB team and Guard FC. After a competitive game, the encounter ended 1-1 in full time, sending both sides into a penalty shootout to decide the winner. The GCB team eventually emerged victorious with a 1-0 scoreline after several rounds of kicks. The promo will reward 10 lucky customers with the highest points from the monthly draws with various electrical gadgets. The promotion is expected to run for 5 months, after which the final draw will take place. The ultimate draw will reward 5 lucky customers with an all-expense-paid trip to watch the Global Football Festival in 2026. Addressing the media, the executive head of retail banking at GCB Bank PLC, Sina Kamagati, said the Patupa promo is the bank's way of showing appreciation to its loyal customers.
In Ghana, there is one thing that unites all of us, and that is soccer. So this is our own small way of saying thank you to our customers who give us deposit all the time, and to reward them to go and then enjoy the Mundua. There are some customers who have not transacted with us over 6 months. We are telling them to come back home, more like Sankofa. So in multiples of 300 Ghana cedis gives you a point, and that's GCB's own small way of saying thank you to our loyal customers.
As GCB drives this latest savings initiative, the bank hopes the excitement of football will inspire more Ghanaians to build a stronger financial future.
In more business news, Ghana's insurance landscape is set for a shake-up as MPLE Insurance Ghana officially replaces the Metropolitan Insurance brand. This transition marks the company's formal entry into the country's insurance market, making it and also marking the beginning of a more inclusive and people-centered insurance experience. Customers have been assured that all existing policies and benefits remain unchanged under the new MPLE Ghana brand.
MPL Group Limited, a subsidiary of Evercorp Industries, operates across Africa with a mission centered on empowering people through clear and accessible financial solutions. The group supports more than 1.9 million policyholders in life, health, general insurance and pension, with a strong focus on digital innovation and operational excellence to drive sustainable growth. Speaking at the launch, the founder and group CEO of Evercorp Industries, Eric Idiahi, reaffirmed the company's commitment towards ensuring standard policies for all.
Our mission at MPL is clear: to offer simple, transparent insurance and pension solutions that empowers individuals, families, businesses, not just for today, but for generations to come. We commit to the best of our ability to operate with full transparency, robust governance, and world-class compliance.
The country head for MPL Ghana, Dr. Rafiq Daudi, spoke about what influenced their decision to enter the Ghanaian insurance space and how strategic the move is for the sub-region.
Today we are local, but we are thinking Pan-African. And so the sub-region requires, if you like, a powerhouse insurance block. Look at most of the companies in this sub-region. They're actually, foreign companies that have dominated Africa. So we want to play in that space and be one of the dominant forces with an organic growth.
The president of the Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana, Shaibu Ali, touched on the benefit of MPL Ghana's move will generate for the insurance fraternity in Ghana.
And that's it for business on News 360. Stay with us. We have the latest in the world of sports right after this.
When you're going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any paint, be paint.
The Luxury acrylic paint.
Paint me champion. When you're going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any paint, be paint.
The Luxury acrylic paint.
Paint me.
Still, Misaka, and Nemu was a summer brabo, and it can afford you now, swab brabo.
Misaka pensions, Karo.
Mesaka order sika.
Misaka insurance.
Mesaka loan.
Momo fogusuri ye echumaden. Di aboye nyina ye sika ho ban. Se MTN ana momo jumaye ni befrewa. Or the 0244 300,000 ene befrew. Na numpo orimbitsaw one time password ana se upin code enti wonso ye wa femu die na ma weni na ho na wonsa enka omo.
Bills mama official po afisa se na sika bebre abamo bia botomo ayede bills aka ne hu biomo yesi 2025 idie eni da so wo homo bia wote wo kwa onni adwumaye fa wani kire bills na beji loan na wo betini dia ye wa wadwuma we eye loan don come we here shade we here ne wo Ghana card e wa na wo zaka usika na se we obi nso a wo ye wa wadwuma wo pesa wo mu ana odumaye ni a wode busumi aketua ene bill se bre na beji lona wo fa bibia nsia wowa collateral ana se deposit ane wo hia mu bia enti afidie yesi obia woni adwuma bia ye wo betumi abeji loan enti se wotena fie na se wanya sika no bi dia eye wow fra bills se sia na wotumi atua wo bills nemo isi se kakra wo.
Let's go, darling.
Say what? I like what I see. Can't get enough of me. I feel like a darling. I feel like a darling.
Darling Braids. Wear the latest styles that make you feel like a darling.
When you're going to buy a face, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any painting be painted.
The Lozi acrylic paint.
Ultimate champion. When you're going to buy a face, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any painting be painted.
The Lozi acrylic paint.
Sports segment is brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. Let's start from the Black Queens who are currently playing against England in Southampton but are trailing by a goal to nil. The goal came from Lucia Kendall in the 6th minute, capitalizing on a mistake by the Black Queens defense to give England that 1-0 lead. As it stands, it's still 1-0 as the match has gone for a break. It is halftime currently, and the Black Queens will hope to bounce back in the second half. Now, the World Cup draw is inching ever closer. The draw will take place on Friday in the United States, and the 2026 World Cup will see two major changes with two seeded teams slated to meet only in the final. My colleague Oreku Ampofo has more.
For the first time in the history of the draw for the FIFA World Cup, there are going to be two major changes. The first of which we've already been made aware of, and that's the fact that the top two seeded teams using the FIFA ranking can only meet in the final of the competition. It's similar to what we do see in tennis Grand Slam competitions, where, for instance, if Yannick Sinner is ranked number 1 and Carlos Alcaraz is ranked number 2, they are put on opposite sides of the draw. And so usually you would see a final between the top two ranked players. That's if they win their games in the tournament. And so that concept has been applied to this World Cup, where you look at Spain and Argentina, the top 2 ranked teams. They have already been placed on the opposite side of the draw. And so if those 2 teams win all their games and go to the final, they would meet each other. Same applies to France and England, who are also 3rd and 4th ranked in the world. They would also be on the opposite side of the draw. And if these 4 teams win all their games in the competition, should be meeting in the semi-finals of the competition. Now to the second major change in the draw procedure. 24 hours after teams find out which group they would be when the draw takes place in Washington on Friday, FIFA is set to host a separate ceremony to this time announce the venues and the kickoff times for all of the 104 matches. Now, this is important because despite the fact that you may know which group you are in, you may not necessarily know where you would play and what time your matches would be. And so remember that this tournament will be hosted in 3 countries, the US, Mexico, and Canada. So potentially you could play your matches in any of these 3 countries. And so on Saturday, December 6th, that's where FIFA have announced that they would then have a separate event to announce the kickoff times and then the venue for all of these matches.
That was a report by Oreku Ampofo. Now, in the Premier League, Manchester City are currently leading Fulham by a 1-0. Goal scored by Erling Haaland in the 17th minute, whilst Bournemouth are currently on a 0-0 draw with Everton in the Premier League as well. That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kale Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kale Charcoal Toothpaste. Kale Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo kendini ehu behia semetra sapapadia to ama me manfo Kale Charcoal's natural ingredients eno ene bome se ho ban e mane swen ne sanso mama hotoso e wo bedwam.
Kale Charcoal Toothpaste. Choose Kale Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kale. Happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Why? The sun come out to play.
It's bright like you.
Why? Why want to play all day?
You are growing.
Why? Do I like to hold you close and very near? Why? Do we always choose soft care?
Because you get to sleep soundly.
Soft Care Baby Diapers uses liquid lock technology that absorbs water and holds it at the bottom, offering your baby long-lasting dryness.
Do we always choose soft care?
Soft Care.
Very soft.
What gets you out of bed in the morning? Is it the sunrise, the sound of your alarm, or is it that dream, that drive, that unstoppable force inside you? You can start your day strong with the rich, creamy taste of Nescafe Original 3-in-1, carefully crafted from selected coffee beans. You're on your own mission, and you won't stop until you succeed. Start strong, finish strong.
This advert is FDA approved. No matter where we are, Africa always calls us home. And here in Ghana, the call is clear. To power growth and create lasting impact. This is a story of how we bring businesses together, create jobs, empower communities, and invest in the next generation. Stanbic Corporate and Investment Banking, driving growth, creating impact.
When you're going to buy a place, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any paint, be paint.
The luxury acrylic paint.
Paint me champion. When you're going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any paint, be paint.
The luxury acrylic paint.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyled
and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Tonight in this segment, after several years of nominations without a win, DJ Slykin has finally clinched the 2025 Guinness Ghana DJ Award powered by Smirnoff Ice. Ya Amwousu, marketing manager for Spirit Ltd, emphasized that Smirnoff remains committed to empowering DJs by providing greater visibility, stronger networking platforms, and expanded opportunities.
Created some 13 years ago, the annual Ghana DJ Awards celebrates radio, mobile, and club disc jockeys who have distinguished themselves in the art of DJing. The platform also highlights the contribution of DJs to music promotion and their role in driving growth within the music industry. In contention for the topmost award, DJ of the Year, were 7 exceptional DJs who performed amazingly in the year under review.
OTB, TMSK DJ from Prosky.
DJ Sly King walked home with the coveted DJ of the Year award, while Joy FM's Doreen Andor received the Lifetime Achievement Award.
It's been 15 years of unstoppable pushing. I've been nominated in this category 6 times, It's really a lot of effort and hard work and dedication, and I keep pushing. 2 years ago, I had 7 nominations. I got to the award. I didn't win any award, So I just keep pushing. It doesn't discourage me. I just keep putting work, and what I'm saying. And finally, I got it, and I'm very excited about that. And I thank God for everything.
In all, over 25 disc jockeys were celebrated for excellence. Other awardees on the night included DJ Lord OTV, who won Event DJ of the Year, and Kojo Manuel, who picked up the Best MC Hype Man of the Year. The Guinness Ghana DJ Awards is powered by Smirnoff Ice. Marketing Manager, Spirits and RTD's Ya Amwa Owusu noted that Smirnoff is committed to helping DJs gain recognition, build networks, and access new opportunities.
It's our 3rd year, and it's been an amazing journey. One of the reasons why we signed this 3-year partnership was, one, to put a spotlight on the DJs, and I'm happy to say that within the past 3 years, we've seen that these DJs, some of them are actually coming up with their own shows. We see the likes of DJ Lord, etc. Highlighting or heroing so many top, shows in Ghana. We see some even coming up with their own shows. We see some of them traveling across the borders to do so many amazing things. The second one was, how do we drive diversity and inclusion with our partnership? And I can say that boldly, we have seen female penetration grow so strong within the DJ fraternity. We've also seen that a lot of young DJs, campus from the universities, etc., are also springing up and doing amazing for themselves. So all of these things are really true success that we have brought together with our beautiful partnership with the Mercury Republic over the past 3 years. We're going to continue this amazing journey because it is just a step in the right direction. We want to definitely continue to lead and shape, and there's only one brand that can do that. That is Smirnoff, the world's #1 favorite vodka and ready-to-drink beverage.
And that's it for entertainment. Time now for international news.
Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, has resigned from his position with immediate effect for health reasons. The 63-year-old's departure coincides with a period of heightened security challenges across Nigeria, with the government under pressure to deal with a spate of mass kidnappings. Last week, the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights reported that at least 402 people, mostly school children, had been kidnapped since mid-November. A retired General Christopher Musa has been nominated by President Bola Tinubu as Abubakar's replacement. In the latest sign of the insecurity, gunmen abducted at least 20 people, including a Christian pastor, a Muslim bride, and her bridesmaids in 2 separate raids in the north on Sunday. Some 250 school children and 12 teachers from a Catholic school in central Niger state are still believed to be missing following the biggest mass kidnapping attack in recent weeks. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has approved a migrant repatriation flight from the United States, Venezuelan authorities said on Tuesday. This comes days after Caracas said comments by U.S. President Donald Trump had effectively halted the program. Repatriation flights had been occurring twice a week, but the Venezuelan government said over the weekend that comments by Trump that Venezuelan airspace should be considered closed. His latest salvo in mounting tensions between the two countries amounted to a unilateral halt in the flights. Homeland
We have so many more stories for you on our website 3news.com. I am Mark.
At 9 p.m. for Agenda, as well as with Alfredo Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Good evening.